On a short trip or two to the mountains of Arizona, we were fortunate enough to find two different kinds of Arizona kingsnakes. Come along with me to see what we found. The summers in the deserts of Arizona can get extremely hot, but within an hour or two, you can go from the hot, dry desert to the cool, lush pine forests. On our way, we found the first snake of the evening, this large, beautiful California kingsnake. I'm always surprised at how few of these I run across. They can be quite variable in appearance. Sometimes the light-colored bands can be yellowish, similar to this one, or they can even be white. Sometimes the white bands can be wide like this one, other times they can be quite narrow. I even see some occasionally where the white bands seem to be almost non-existent or very dark. This one seems pretty typical to what I normally see. Another type of Arizona kingsnake that can be found in the deserts more towards southeastern Arizona is the desert kingsnake. Here's an example. Sometimes desert kingsnakes in extreme southern Arizona can take on an almost purely black coloration, similar to this one. This form is often referred to as the black kingsnake, or historically it's been called the Mexican black kingsnake. California kingsnakes, as most people know, seem to eat just about everything. They'll consume mice, lizards, birds, other snakes, including rattlesnakes. All right, I'm going to let this kingsnake go and continue on. Continuing further up the mountain, we were able to find this juvenile Arizona black rattlesnake. The juveniles often look very different from the adults. As they age, they usually darken up quite a bit. The juveniles can have such a light color that they can often be confused for other rattlesnakes, such as western diamondbacks or Mojave rattlesnakes. Take a look at this comparison between a juvenile Arizona black rattlesnake and a juvenile western diamondback rattlesnake. Next, take a look at this comparison between a juvenile Arizona black rattlesnake and a juvenile Mojave rattlesnake. All right, back to our little baby Arizona black rattlesnake. It really is a pretty little snake. It's tolerating my presence quite well. Doesn't appear to be defensive or hostile in any way. That being said, it is a venomous snake, so anytime you see a venomous snake, you should give it the proper respect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy go and move on. We also stopped for a moment to take a look at this Woodhouse's toad. While I was shining my flashlight on the toad to take pictures, the toad started eating the bugs that were attracted to my light. All right, let's get going. Traveling higher up in elevation, where the air is much cooler, we were fortunate enough to find this Arizona mountain kingsnake. And here it is. Arizona mountain kingsnake. Although I rarely go specifically looking for one. They just tend to turn up when I'm looking for other snakes. Arizona mountain kingsnakes really are one of my favorite snakes to find. There are really two different types of mountain kingsnakes in Arizona. There's the Arizona mountain kingsnake, the snake that we found now, and there's also the Madrian mountain kingsnake. Both mountain kingsnakes are incredibly beautiful animals. The Arizona mountain kingsnake lives more in the mountains along the Mogollon Rim and on west towards the Prescott area. They can also be found up north towards Flagstaff and even north of the Grand Canyon. Madrian mountain kingsnakes, on the other hand, are limited to the southeastern portion of Arizona. They tend to live in the isolated Sky Island mountain ranges. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Arizona mountain kingsnakes like this one, in my opinion, are one of the most, if not the most beautiful snake that you can find in Arizona. Even though Arizona mountain kingsnakes have bright, contrasty colors, they can often appear dark when illuminated in the headlights at night. In fact, I actually drove right past this one. It seemed more like a stick. I decided to give it a second chance though. Glad I did. I still remember the very first Arizona mountain king snake that I found in 1993. I flipped it under a rock in October. I'll never forget it. Some year I may even set aside a specific amount of time just to look for Arizona mountain king snakes. Finding this snake has really made the trip for me, even though that wasn't what I set out to find. And sometimes that's how herping works. You set out to find one snake, and you never know what surprises you're going to find along the way. Check out the underbelly scales of this snake. The color and pattern carries over. Look at that bright coloration. I love the contrast. I'm super happy to have found 2 different types of king snakes tonight. On our way back down the mountain, we encountered this large western diamondback rattlesnake crossing the road. What a sight! I just love coming across a large snake crossing the road. Western diamondback rattlesnakes are very common in many areas in Arizona. This year, though, for some reason, I could count the number of western diamondbacks that I've found on one hand. They really are impressive rattlesnakes. Please feel free to comment below and let me know which snake you enjoyed seeing the most and what you liked about the video. We're just going to go ahead and let this big diamondback rattlesnake make its way across the road. We're going to escort it safely across. All right, there you go, off to safety.